The night sky was silent, but humanity could feel it shifting. Deep in orbit, the research station Aurora 7 received a signal unlike anything they had ever seen. It pulsed slowly, almost like a heartbeat, and carried a message in a language no one on Earth could immediately understand. Scientists and military officers crowded around the main console, staring at the strange symbols. No one spoke. Everyone just listened, their breaths caught in suspense. The signal was coming from a star system on the edge of known space, a place humans had never dared to explore. Commander Elena Morales was the first to break the silence. "It's not random," she said firmly, her finger tracing the symbols on the screen. This is a call. Someone or something is trying to communicate." Her voice trembled slightly, though she tried to hide it. The room was tense. A call from deep space had always been a dream, but now that dream carried danger. Within hours, Earth's leaders convened in a secure council chamber. The signal had been decoded partially, and its meaning sent shivers down every spine. "Help. Us. They are coming. We cannot fight alone." Alien words. Alien fear. And worst of all, a silent threat lingered between the lines. Humanity was not alone in the galaxy, but war had already begun. While humans debated whether to respond, scout ships were launched. The first fleet of human explorers jumped through the quantum corridors toward the distant star system. Hours turned into days, and finally, images began arriving. The screens lit up with burning planets and shattered ships. Entire fleets had been destroyed, their crews obliterated. The camera feed shook as the human scouts approached what remained of the battlefield. Silence stretched over the observation room. No alarms, no communication from the alien survivors, only ruins drifting in the void. We can't fight this," whispered one junior officer, his hands trembling over the console. "Fear, too strong." Commander Morales turned sharply, her eyes cutting through the fear. "Strength alone doesn't decide war. Strategy does, and humanity is never unprepared." She paused, watching the live feed. A shadow moved among the wreckage fast, silent, impossible to track. No light reflected from it, no sensors could lock on. It was as if the darkness itself had a mind. The council argued for days. Some demanded withdrawal, fearing total annihilation. Others called for immediate retaliation, convinced that hesitation would mean death. Meanwhile, scientists revealed an alarming fact. The galaxy was far older and more violent than humans had imagined. Entire civilizations had risen and fallen without leaving traces. And now, humanity had stumbled into a war already raging for centuries. Then the first human fleet arrived near the signal's origin. They found a single planet scarred and burning, with structures that glowed faintly as if alive. Alien life existed here once, but now only shadows remained. And yet a fleet, black and immense, appeared at the edge of the star system. No announcement, no warning, only the sudden appearance of ships that seemed carved from the void itself. This was the Black Armada. Legends had whispered of their existence, of fleets that struck without mercy and disappeared into darkness. Humanity had thought they were myths. Now they were real. On board the lead human ship, sovereign alarms blared as the Black Armada scanned. The fleet with strange energy waves. Every ship trembled as invisible forces clawed at their hulls. Communications went dark. And then, without warning, the first explosion ripped through the human fleet. Fire and debris scattered into the void. The battle lasted only moments, but it left a lasting mark. Humanity had seen the face of a true predator, and the predator was patient, clever, and merciless. Back on Earth, news of the fleet's destruction caused panic. Ordinary citizens stared at the skies, unsure if they would see another sunrise. Governments ordered full mobilization, but fear lingered. The Black Armada had no known leader, no known home, and no mercy. The signal from beyond had been a trap or perhaps a warning. No one could tell. Meanwhile, Commander Morales gathered her officers aboard the Sovereign. "They are testing us," she said. "They know more about humanity than we know about them. But they will learn one thing. We do not surrender." Not now, not ever. Her words ignited a fire in the crew, a determination stronger than fear. They began to plot, studying the shadows for weaknesses. Every sensor reading, every maneuver, every faint signal could hold the key to survival. The human scientists worked day and night. They discovered fragments of alien technology, shards of weapons and communication arrays. One device hummed with energy that defied known physics. It seemed to anticipate movements as if the ship itself had a mind. Commander Morales looked at the glowing shard and felt a strange familiarity. This could be our chance, she whispered. If we can understand it, maybe we can stand a chance against them. Hours turned into nights, and nights into days. The human fleet learned quickly. They adapted to sudden attacks, avoided traps, and grew more daring. Yet the Black Armada always remained one step ahead, vanishing before humanity could strike back. Every victory was small, every loss enormous. Suspense hung in every corner of the fleet. Then one day, a lone scout returned with a message from the Signals planet. Alien survivors, weak and terrified, revealed the truth. The Black Armada had been dormant for centuries, awakened only when someone dared to intervene in their territory. They were guardians, but of something far older, far more dangerous than any human or alien civilization. And now, humanity was a threat just because of its actions, but because of its potential. Commander Morales listened quietly, her jaw tight. They think we are weak. They think we are small. Let them continue underestimating us. That mistake will cost them dearly. As the scout ship drifted past the edge of the star system, a shadow larger than any fleet appeared in the distance. The human crew froze. The Black Armada had noticed them, fully aware of their presence, their intentions, and perhaps even their strengths. The war had just begun, and humanity, for the first time, understood the scale of what they faced. The first part of this journey ended with Earth staring into the void, knowing that joining this war would change everything. Humanity had been called, warned, and tested. And as the stars stretched endlessly above, one truth became clear. They could not hide. They could not retreat, and they would never surrender. The Black Armada was awake, and from the shadows, it watched patiently, ready for the next move in those long, silent hours. Humans realized one simple fact. The galaxy was no longer a place to explore safely. It was a battlefield, and now humanity was part of it. Earth was quiet, but beneath the calm, tension boiled. Leaders gathered in massive glass towers, their faces tense under the weight of impossible choices. Humanity had seen the Black Armada, the fleet that could appear and vanish like shadows, destroying everything in its path. The images from the distant star system haunted screens across the planet. Entire human scout fleets were gone, erased in moments. Panic spread, yet some voices demanded action. President Kellen rose, his eyes scanning the council chamber. "We have two choices," he said slowly, letting the words sink. "We hide, or we fight. If we hide, we may survive a little longer, but we will die eventually. They will not forget we exist. If we fight, we might change the galaxy forever, or we might disappear tonight." A murmur ran through the room. Scientists, generals, and politicians argued over every detail. The Black Armada had no known origin, no diplomacy, no warnings. They moved like ghosts, striking only where it suited them. Humanity had never faced an enemy like this. And yet, somewhere deep in their bones, people felt a stirring of defiance. On the other side of the world, in secret underground facilities, engineers worked on humanity's most guarded weapons. They were relics from a forgotten era, technology older than any human records. Massive warships slept in hidden docks, powered by energy no one fully understood. Ancient weapons hummed in the dark, waiting for activation. Some scientists feared what awakening them might unleash, but others saw them as humanity's only chance. Admiral Soren, a tall man with steel-gray hair, addressed the council via hologram. "We have resources the galaxy believes lost. If we bring these ships online, we may not only survive, we may dominate. He paused, eyes flashing. But this is dangerous. These ships are powerful, but they are also unstable. One wrong move, and we could destroy ourselves before the Armada even touches us. The debate raged. Citizens demanded protection, while military leaders warned of annihilation. Suspense filled every channel, every news feed, every whisper in the streets. Humanity was standing on a knife's edge. Then a warning came. The orbital defenses detected a small fleet approaching Earth. At first, sensors could not identify it. It was fast, silent, cloaked in a shimmer of darkness. A scout ship scrambled to intercept, and moments later all communication went dead. The Black Armada was near. Panic turned into fear. Families huddled in shelters. Cities went dark as emergency systems activated. The Council knew this was not a full-scale attack, but a test. The Armada wanted to see humanity's reaction, and what it saw would decide the next step in the war. Commander Elena Morales watched the feeds from her command center. "They're testing us," she whispered to her officers. "Every move we make, every signal we send, they are watching. We have to be smarter than they expect." Her eyes narrowed. "They do not fight blindly. They strike with precision, and they are patient. We cannot be reckless." Scientists worked tirelessly to interpret alien technology retrieved from the scout missions. Strange fragments pulsed with energy, almost alive. One small device projected holographic maps of unknown star systems, showing patterns of the Black Armada's movements. It was as if the ship itself predicted enemy maneuvers. A young researcher, barely 23, exclaimed, "This is not just a weapon. It's a mind. It thinks, adapts." Admiral Soren leaned over the display. "Then we fight smart. We hit where they do not expect. We use every secret they do not know about us." But not everyone agreed. Some scientists warned that awakening, the ancient fleet could awaken dangers even greater than the Armada. Civil unrest spread as rumors leaked of humanity holding forbidden weapons. People questioned whether humanity deserved survival if it risked the galaxy's balance. Despite the fear, a decision was made. Humanity would join the war. The first fleets of hidden ancient ships were brought online. Massive engines roared, shaking docks that had been silent for centuries. Lights flickered as weapon systems hummed, ready to fire. Humanity's long-forgotten giants had awakened, and their presence sent ripples across the galaxy. Meanwhile, the Black Armada moved silently, closer. It had detected Earth's preparations, and it was testing patience. On board the Sovereign, Commander Morales monitored the shadows of approaching ships. "They are curious," she said. "Curiosity is dangerous in a predator. They're calculating everything, waiting for the perfect strike." Suspense rose as the first clash seemed imminent. Scouts reported movements on the dark edge of the solar system. The Armada had stopped just beyond the sensor's reach. It was as if they were smiling, watching humanity dance with fear and courage. In the council chamber, President Kellen addressed the world. "Humanity has a choice. We can cower, or we can rise. We know nothing about what we face, but we know one thing. We are not weak. We are never weak. Today, we choose to fight." The announcement ignited both hope and fear. Across the globe, humans watched the night sky with new eyes. Every star, every flicker could hide the coming storm. And from the shadows, the Black Armada waited, its motives unknown, its power undeniable. Commander Morales prepared her fleet for deployment. Ancient ships, sleek and massive, rose from hidden docks. Humans who had never seen such power stared in awe and disbelief. These ships had fought wars long before humanity existed. Now, they would fight again, but under human command, as the first fleet jumped into deep space. The Black Armada remained at the edge, unseen but omnipresent. Humans could feel its gaze, a cold and patient force, studying every decision, every movement. Fear was there, but so was resolve. Humanity had chosen, and war had begun. The first step had been taken, but the path ahead was uncertain. Every strategy, every weapon, every mind would be tested. and the Black Armada, ever watchful, had already begun to shape the battle to come. Humanity was no longer a bystander. They were now players in a game older than any human memory, a game of shadows, fire, and survival. As night fell on Earth, the world held its breath. One thing was certain: the galaxy would never see humanity the same way again. The decision had been made, the fleet was moving, and the shadows of the Black Armada stretched across the stars. Humanity had chosen to fight. And from that choice, an epic war would rise, shaking the very foundations of the universe. The void of space was silent, but humans knew better than to trust silence. The first human fleet, led by Commander Elena Morales aboard the Sovereign, moved through the dark corridors of the galaxy, toward the system where the Black Armada had struck before. Every sensor blinked with readings. Every scanner hummed with warnings. The fleet had learned quickly. In the void, shadows could hide entire armadas. And the difference between life and death was often a fraction of a second. Morales stood on the command deck staring at the endless stars. "Stay sharp," she said to her officers. "They know we are coming. Every movement we make is being watched. Every mistake could be our last." The fleet approached the battlefield where the scout missions had seen entire alien fleets destroyed. Floating wreckage glimmered faintly in the darkness. Ships burned, hulls twisted, and debris drifted endlessly. Humans felt a mix of fear and resolve. They had joined the war knowing nothing of the enemy, but now they could see its results. The Armada did not just kill, it erased. Then it happened. Out of the dark a fleet appeared, not all at once. Ships materialized in shadows, moving faster than any human sensor could predict.
Oh, yeah, the Black Armada was here.
Alarms screamed across the fleet. Human pilots scrambled, and massive warships shifted into defensive formations. Energy shields flickered. Lasers charged, and ancient weapons hummed with power. But the Armada did not attack immediately. They circled, observing, calculating. It was as if they were toying with humanity, testing their reactions before the hunt began. "Hold fire," Morales commanded. "Do not show weakness. Do not give them the first strike." Her voice was calm, but inside her heart raced. She knew the first few minutes would decide everything. The first strike came without warning. Shadows streaked through space, and human ships exploded in brilliant flashes. The fleet tried to respond, but every attack missed by mere meters. The Armada's ships moved with impossible speed, disappearing and reappearing like ghosts. Humans realized they were not facing simple opponents. They were facing an enemy that thought in ways no human could predict. Amid the chaos, young pilot Lieutenant Rami Chen maneuvered his fighter through the wreckage, his hands shaking. They're everywhere," he shouted over the comms. Morales' voice came back immediately. "Focus, Chen. Watch the patterns. Every strike leaves a trace, even a shadow." Slowly, humans began to adapt. Fleet tacticians observed. The Armada's movements had realized one thing. The enemy moved in predictable patterns, but only after long observation. Morales coordinated the fleet, timing attacks, adjusting positions, and anticipating the Armada's maneuvers. Human. Ship became part of a larger plan, a web designed to trap shadows in light. Hours passed in what felt like minutes. Ships exploded, sensors overloaded, and crew members held their breaths for every signal. But slowly, humanity gained small victories. A single enemy ship was hit, debris scattering into the void. Another was forced to retreat, temporarily lost. In the shadows, the fleet cheered silently, small but vital signs of hope. Yet even as the humans celebrated, a new horror appeared. From the dark edges of the battlefield, enormous ships emerged. Black, jagged, impossible to comprehend. These were the giants of the Armada, far larger than anything humanity had imagined. Their presence alone twisted the gravity of the area, pulling smaller ships into dangerous orbits. Morales' voice was sharp, commanding. "All units, focus fire on the smaller vessels. Avoid the giants at all costs." The human fleet obeyed, but the Armada adapted instantly. Shadowy tendrils of energy reached out, disabling shields, disrupting engines. and tearing ships apart without touching them. The humans realized the Armada was not just attacking, they were testing intelligence, probing weaknesses, and learning with every move. Morales studied the enemy closely. She noticed a pattern, subtle but consistent. The smaller ships always moved in a line behind the giants, as if the enormous vessels were commanders. "We need to hit the leaders," she said. "If we take out the command ships, the rest may falter." Fleet-wide communications confirmed the strategy. Ancient weapons roared to life, firing massive energy beams at the giant ships. The shots were precise, calculated. For the first time, humans felt the thrill of initiative. The shadows flinched, shifted, and a small explosion rocked the Armada. But victory was brief. The giants did not die. Instead, they vanished, leaving only darkness where they had been. The human fleet realized the truth. The Black Armada could strike, retreat, and return at will. They were never truly defeated. They were eternal hunters. In the midst of the chaos, Morales made a bold decision. "We cannot fight them head-on," she said. "We need to strike where they least expect it, split the fleet. Let's use the shadows against them." Pilots and captains hesitated, knowing the risk. But Morales' resolve was absolute. If we fail together. But if we succeed, we learn. That is our only chance. The fleet divided. Smaller squads slipped through asteroid fields. And nebulae, hidden from sensors, moving like ghosts. They struck isolated enemy ships, disrupted formations, and caused confusion within the Armada. Every maneuver was dangerous, every misstep deadly. But humans had learned something vital. Patience and intelligence could level the playing field. Even against shadows, hours later, as the void turned silent again, the human fleet regrouped. Ships were damaged, crews exhausted, and spirits shaken, but the Armada had not destroyed them. It survived their first encounter, and in doing so, had learned something the Armada had not expected. Humanity could adapt, fight, and endure. Morales stared at the stars, knowing the battle was far from over. "This is only the beginning," she said. "They will come again. And next time, they will not test us. They will strike to kill. We have shown them we exist. Now they know we are not prey. They will respect our strength, or they will regret it." Deep in the darkness, the Black Armada observed. Their patterns had been tested. Humanity had surprised them. But patience was eternal. They would wait. They would learn. And when the next strike came, the universe would tremble once more. Humanity had taken its first step into war. The first strike in the void had been costly, terrifying, and yet victorious. The first time humans knew they could fight back. The shadows had been challenged. And from that challenge, hope was born, fragile but fierce, ready to grow into the force that could one day face the Black Armada itself. The human fleet returned from its first battle in the void, but there was no celebration. Ships were damaged, crews exhausted, and the echoes of the Black Armada's attacks haunted every officer. Commander Alina Morales walked through the corridors of the Sovereign, her boots echoing against the metal floors. Silence stretched like a shadow, heavier than any battle. The crew looked to her for guidance, for hope, for answers. Reports from the scouts brought alarming news. Some allied alien fleets had gone silent. Entire communication channels were blocked. And, most disturbingly, intelligence suggested that some of Earth's supposed allies were withholding information about the Armada. Distrust spread like wildfire. Could humans trust anyone in this galaxy? The very question shook them to the core. Morales called a meeting with her top officers. "We have fought bravely, but the war is far from over," she said, her voice calm but firm. "And now we face something worse than the Armada, betrayal." Her eyes scanned the room. "Some of our allies may be hiding secrets. They may fear the Black Armada or fear us. We must prepare for both." Meanwhile on Earth, politicians debated fiercely. News of suspicious delays and strange alliances leaked to the public. Fear became anger, and anger became suspicion. Humanity had joined the war, but the question lingered. Could they trust anyone beyond their own species? On board the Sovereign, Morales' crew analyzed the damage from the first encounter. The Armada's attacks had been precise, almost surgical. Every strike seemed to test a theory, to probe for weaknesses. But now, strange signals began appearing on the fleet's sensors' messages, cloaked in layers of encryption that none of the human scientists had seen before. Lieutenant Rami Chen, still recovering from his first combat, stared at the readouts. "Commander, these signals, they're from one of our own fleets." His voice was tight with disbelief. Morales moved closer, reading the encrypted codes. Her stomach dropped. The fleet they had counted as allies had sent instructions to the Black Armada, guiding some attacks. "Betrayal," Morales whispered, more to herself than to anyone else. "They are working with them, or at least feeding them information." The betrayal struck fast and deep. Human ships that had been regrouping now faced ambushes, and some were lost before they could react. The Black Armada had learned even faster than humans had expected. Could it be that the Armada's knowledge of human tactics came from their own allies? Morales acted immediately. She divided the fleet into smaller units, increasing mobility and making them harder to target. She ordered encrypted channels and strict operational silence. Every move was cautious, calculated. Humans had learned to fight the shadows. But now the shadows might wear the faces of friends. Even as they prepared, the Black Armada struck again. This time it was not with mass destruction. It was a surgical strike against a single human cruiser that had been separated from the fleet. The crew watched in horror as the ship was torn apart from within, systems failing one by one. Energy shields collapsed, weapons fried, and life support systems died. Morales gritted her teeth. "They are hunting us with precision, and someone is guiding them." Among the crew, whispers began. Could Earth itself have spies? Could some leaders on the planet be manipulating events from thousands of miles away? The idea was terrifying, but Morales had no time to dwell on fear. Survival required focus, strategy, and cunning. In the shadows of the galaxy, the Black Armada watched, patient and calculating. They had learned quickly about humanity's hidden fleet and its capabilities, but now the betrayal accelerated their strategy. They could strike where it hurt most, and humans had no choice but to respond. Morales convened a council with her top tacticians. "We cannot fight the Armada and betrayals separately," she said. "We must treat every encounter as a test. Every ship could be a trap, and every ally could be a threat. But we will survive. We must survive." They developed a risky plan. Small human units would move through uncharted regions, avoiding known space lanes. Scouts would test enemy signals for tampering, and the Sovereign would serve as a decoy, drawing attention while other ships carried out critical maneuvers. As the plan was set, Morales received a private communication from a mysterious alien source. The message was simple: trust only yourselves. The Armada watches, but your own kind is not always loyal. The message offered no further explanation. Morales felt the weight of the galaxy pressing down on her shoulders. The war was no longer just against the Black Armada. It was against uncertainty, suspicion, and fear itself. The first test of the new strategy came sooner than expected. A human convoy, moving quietly through a nearby nebula, reported strange activity. Enemy ships were detected, but the patterns were unusual, almost like they were being guided by knowledge of human fleet formations. Morales realized immediately the betrayal extended beyond one ship. It was a network, subtle and hidden, but deadly. In the void, human pilots faced shadows that seemed to anticipate every maneuver. They dodged and struck, but each encounter revealed more about the Armada's learning ability. It was a terrifying lesson. Humans had underestimated the enemy. They had survived the first strike, but survival alone was not enough. Knowledge, cunning, and unity would be required to endure. Amid the chaos, Morales found a small victory. Isolating the signals and rerouting the fleet through unexpected paths. They trapped a section of the Black Armada in a temporary engagement. Human ships struck decisively, forcing several enemy vessels to retreat. It was a small triumph, but morale soared. Even in the face of betrayal and shadows, humanity had shown it could adapt, survive, and strike back. As the fleet regrouped, Morales addressed her officers. The Black Armada is powerful, and betrayal makes them stronger. But we are not weak. Every loss teaches us. Every shadow we survive strengthens us. The galaxy may doubt us, allies may deceive us, and the Armada may strike without warning, but humanity endures. That is our greatest weapon. From the distant darkness, the Black Armada observed the shifting human tactics. Patience remained. They had learned, adapted, and anticipated. But humans had learned too. The shadows had been challenged, and the shadows were not invincible. The betrayal had shown humanity one thing clearly. The war was not only against the Armada, but also against the unknown. Trust could be deadly. Silence could save lives. And in the heart of space, every decision mattered. As Earth prepared for the next phase of the war, Commander Morales looked out at the stars. The galaxy was no longer a place of exploration or wonder. It was a battlefield, full of shadows, betrayal, and unseen dangers. Humanity had survived the first strikes. They had endured betrayal. And now, with lessons learned, they would fight smarter, strike harder, and face the darkness head-on. The shadows would return, the betrayals would continue, and the Black Armada would strike again. But humanity had made its choice to endure, to fight and to survive them when the odds were against them. Humanity had learned to survive, but survival alone was not enough. The Black Armada was patient, cunning, and relentless. Every strike, every movement of the enemy showed a mind far beyond human understanding. Commander Elena Morales stood on the bridge of the Sovereign, staring at the map of the galaxy that flickered across the main display. Every star system held danger. Every shadow held a threat. Humanity needed an advantage of power strong enough to challenge the Armada. Deep beneath Earth's surface, in secret docking bays hidden from prying eyes, humanity's greatest weapon slept. Ancient warships, massive and gleaming, rested for centuries in silence. Their engines were dark, their weapons dormant. Legends called them the titans of humanity's ships from a time before history, built to defend Earth from threats beyond imagination. Few believed they still worked. Fewer dared to hope they could. But now, with the Black Armada testing humanity's resolve, hope became necessity. Engineers and scientists worked tirelessly to awaken the titans. Massive energy conduits sparked to life, thrumming with a power long forgotten. The ships began to move slowly, their hulls creaking as if stretching after centuries of sleep. Morales watched the images from orbit, her eyes wide. "It's beautiful," she whispered, and terrifying. Activating the fleet was not simple. The ships required ancient knowledge, codes that had been lost for generations, and precise coordination to prevent catastrophe. Each vessel hummed with energy, systems awakening one by one. Lights blazed across the docks, illuminating massive guns and energy arrays. Crew members stared in awe and fear. These ships were alive in a way modern humans had never seen. The first, Titans lifted from their bays, engines roaring as if announcing their return. The ground shook under their weight. Humanity's secret had awoken. The scale of these ships alone was enough to terrify even the bravest. Morales knew the moment had arrived. Humanity would no longer hide. They would strike, and the Armada would see the full power of Earth as the Titans moved into orbit. Communications from the Black Armada increased. The shadows were aware of the awakening, watching, analyzing. For the first time, the enemy hesitated. Humanity had shown strength beyond expectations. The balance of fear shifted slightly. Morales smiled grimly. "They think they are hunters," she said. "But now they will see the hunters have teeth." The fleet's first deployment was cautious. The Titans moved slowly, coordinating with human ships that had survived earlier battles, not training simulations. Turned into real missions, as smaller ships took positions around the Titans to protect them from stealth attacks. Every step was calculated. Every maneuver designed to test both the fleet's power and its limits. The first test came sooner than expected. A section of the Black Armada had been spotted near a neutral star system. Morales ordered the Titans forward, leading the fleet into the void. The enemy did not retreat. Instead, they circled, probing the Titans' defenses, sending energy pulses, and scanning for weaknesses. Humans realized immediately that these ancient ships were powerful, but they were not invincible. Precision, strategy, and unity would be required to survive. Morales coordinated a demonstration of the Titans' firepower. Massive weapons arrays charged, casting brilliant arcs of energy across space. In a single strike, the Armada's smaller ships were shattered, their shadows scattered into the void. Human pilots cheered, adrenaline surging. For the first time, humanity could fight on equal terms, perhaps even dominate. But the victory was incomplete. From the dark edges of the battlefield, massive Armada vessels emerged, the giants that had terrified humans before. Their presence alone warped space, pulling human ships slightly off course. Morales' face hardened. They are testing us still. They will not fight fair, but neither will we. The Titans moved with precision, their ancient systems working. In perfect harmony with modern tactics, humans directed energy shields to cover vulnerable areas, rerouted power to weapons, and used asteroid fields to mask movements. Every maneuver challenged the Armada's predictions, forcing them to adapt. For the first time, the Black Armada seemed cautious, almost hesitant. Hours passed with careful engagements, bursts of combat, and strategic retreats. The Titans demonstrated their value, surviving attacks that would have destroyed modern human ships. Pilots began to understand the flow of battle, moving in synchrony with the massive vessels. Humans realized that the fleet was no longer just surviving, it was beginning to dominate. During a brief lull, Morales walked the deck, observing the crew. "The Armada is powerful, yes," she said quietly, "but they underestimate us. Are not the same humans they saw in the void before. We are stronger, smarter, and now, with the Titans, we are unstoppable." Caution remained. Intelligence reports revealed that the Black Armada was regrouping, preparing for a coordinated strike. They had observed the Titans' strengths and weaknesses. Morales knew this would not be the final encounter. The Armada's patience was infinite. They would return, and they would strike with all their cunning. Humanity had to be ready. That night, the fleet drifted near a distant planet, sensors scanning the void for signs of movement. The Titan's hum was constant, a reminder of power sleeping in plain sight. Morales watched the stars, her mind racing. The galaxy was no longer safe. Every system held danger. Every shadow could hide a fleet. And yet humans had taken a step forward, awakening a weapon no enemy had expected. For the first time, humanity felt a new confidence. The Titans were not just ships, they were a symbol of resilience, ingenuity, and survival. The Black Armada had met its match, at least in part. And as the stars stretched endlessly above, humans understood one simple truth. The war had changed, and now humanity was ready to fight with the full strength of its hidden might. The shadows of the Black Armada loomed still, silent and watching. But the Titans had awakened. And in the void, the balance of fear had shifted, just enough for humanity to strike back when the time came. The war was far from over, but for the first time, hope burned brighter than fear. The calm did not last long. Humanity had awakened the Titans, their ancient warships casting a new shadow over the galaxy. But the Black Armada did not sleep. Patience was one of its deadliest weapons, and it had waited for the perfect moment. From the distant void, massive vessels began moving silently toward the edge of human-controlled space. They were enormous, dark, and terrifying, each one like a fortress made of shadows. Commander Elena Morales stood on the bridge of the Sovereign, her eyes scanning the sensor feeds. The Black Armada's approach was deliberate, calculated. It was not a blind attack. The enemy had learned from the previous encounters, observing humanity's tactics and weaknesses. Every move they made now would be precise, deadly, and terrifyingly efficient. "Distance closing," reported Lieutenant. Rami Chen, his voice tense. They're almost within strike range. Shields are at full power. All weapons online. Morales nodded, her jaw tight. Prepare for impact. Alert all units. This is the moment they test us fully. Across Earth, citizens look to the skies. Unaware of the full scale of the battle unfolding, satellites picked up disturbances in orbit, flashes of energy that were too fast to be natural. Humanity knew the enemy had arrived, and fear spread like wildfire. The first strike came without warning. From beyond the sensor range, energy beams tore through human defense satellites and fleet ships alike. Massive explosions erupted in space, sending debris hurtling across the void. The Sovereign shook violently as the first salvo hit. Crew members were thrown off balance, alarms blaring. Morales barked orders to stabilize systems and return fire, her voice cutting through the chaos. Black Armada did not stop. Smaller human vessels were targeted first, destroyed with precision before they could respond. The Titans, though powerful, were forced to adjust shields and countermeasures constantly. The enemy struck not just with weapons but with intelligence manipulating the battlefield, predicting human maneuvers and exploiting weaknesses in real time. Amid the chaos, Morales realized the enemy's pattern. "They are testing us," she shouted. "They want to see how we react under pressure. Keep your focus. Strike where they do not expect." Human ships began coordinated counterattacks, using the Titans' ancient weapons and fleet tactics. Learned in the previous encounters, massive energy beams tore through the shadows, hitting enemy vessels and forcing some to retreat. Small victories came slowly but surely, as humanity adapted to the Armada's unpredictable strategies. Yet the Armada had a surprise. From the edges of the battlefield, enormous shadow tendrils extended, pulling ships out of formation. Some human vessels were crushed or ripped apart, their crews lost in moments. Morales watched in horror, knowing these were not weapons in the traditional sense. They were extensions of the Armada itself, controlled with precision that defied explanation. Even so, humans refused to surrender. Morales coordinated daring maneuvers, splitting the fleet into smaller groups to confuse the enemy. Pilots darted through asteroid fields and nebulas, hiding from sensors while launching ambushes. For every ship the Armada destroyed, humans struck. Back in kind, they were learning, adapting, surviving. Hours passed in a tense battle of attrition. Explosions lit the void, smoke and debris drifting across space like ghostly specters. Crew members on the Sovereign worked tirelessly, coordinating strikes, patching shields, and rerouting power to critical systems. Every decision mattered, every second counted. Morales knew one mistake could cost thousands of lives in a bold move. Morales ordered the Titans to focus fire on the largest enemy vessels. Ancient weapons roared to life, discharging massive energy blasts that ripped through the shadows. The Armada recoiled, forced to retreat temporarily. Humanity had struck a significant blow, and morale soared. For the first time, the Black Armada hesitated, acknowledging the strength of the awakened fleet. But the victory was temporary. Intelligence reports revealed that the Armada's retreat was strategic. They were regrouping, preparing for a larger strike, one that would test humanity's defenses to the limit. Morales knew that this was not the end. It was a prelude to something far more dangerous. In the midst of the battle, Morales received a message from Earth's leaders. Civilians demanded answers, safety, and reassurance. Morales took a deep breath and responded, her words measured and calm. "We are standing strong. Humanity fights. We will endure. The Black Armada may strike, but they will not break us. Our fleet is ready. Our people are ready." As night fell across human-controlled space, the battle slowed. Black Armada had retreated for now, but its shadow lingered, a constant reminder of the threat that awaited. The Titans had proven their worth. The human fleet had survived. Humanity had learned that courage, intelligence, and unity could hold back even the deadliest enemy. Yet Morales knew the war was far from over. The Black Armada was patient, relentless, and learning. Every encounter, every victory, every loss was shaping their strategy. Humanity had survived the strike, but survival alone would not be enough. The next battle would be harder, deadlier, and more unpredictable. In the quiet that followed, Morales walked the deck of the Sovereign, watching the stars. The void was vast, dark, and unforgiving, but humans had faced it head-on. For the first time, the shadows of the Black Armada had been challenged. Humanity had endured, fought back, and survived. And though the enemy still loomed in the distance, one truth remained. Humans would not surrender, and they would not hide. The Black Armada had struck. Humanity had responded. The war had escalated, and the galaxy watched silently. The Titans had awakened, the fleet had survived, and the stage was set for the next chapter, confrontation that would determine the fate of not just Earth, but the entire galaxy. The battlefield was quiet now, but silence brought no comfort. Humanity had survived the Black Armada's devastating strike, and the Titans had proven their power. Yet Commander Elena Morales knew that victory was temporary. Every engagement revealed just how cunning, patient, and deadly the enemy was. Humanity had won battles, but the war itself remained a mystery, and mysteries could kill. In the command center of the Sovereign, Morales studied data streams from the recent battles. Sensors had picked up anomalous signals that were not entirely natural. Some of the Black Armada ships emitted pulses that seemed to carry information, not just energy. And in the wreckage recovered from earlier encounters, scientists had discovered fragments of alien technology unlike anything humanity had seen before. Lieutenant Rami Chen, still recovering from his first true combat, looked over Morales. "Shoulder, Commander. These fragments. They're alive," he said, voice barely above a whisper. "They're not machines. They're more like thinking entities. And they're responding to our actions." Morales nodded slowly. "This war is not just about strength or tactics," she said. "It's about intelligence, and it's about understanding. The Armada learns. It adapts. But so can we. We need to know what we are really facing." Scientists worked tirelessly, running simulations and decoding alien fragments. What they discovered shook the fleet. The Black Armada was not just a fleet of ships. It was a collective intelligence, a network that connected every vessel. Every action, every strategy, every weakness could be shared instantly across the Armada. Humans realized that previous battles had been tests, ways for the enemy to learn and adapt faster than they could. "This is worse than we thought," said Dr. Lyra Hale, one of the leading scientists. "They are not just hunters. They are a hive mind. And if we do not find a way to disrupt their network, no fleet can stand against them for long." Morales' face hardened. "Then we find the network. We cut it. We strike where they are weakest. That is our only path to survival." Meanwhile, Earth demanded answers. Civilians and politicians alike were scared, angry, and desperate for hope. Rumors spread of secret weapons, hidden fleets, and battles fought in the shadows. Morales knew. The truth had to be controlled carefully. Panic could destroy the home front faster than any Armada attack. As intelligence reports accumulated, shocking revelation emerged. The fragments recovered from destroyed Armada ships contained map star systems, hidden bases, and pathways through space that no human had ever charted. More surprisingly, some of these maps led to ancient locations tied to humanity's own past, places connected to the Titans themselves. Morales convened a council with her top officers and scientists. "The Armada is not random. Our movements are connected to something larger. And these maps, they point to our history, to secrets long buried. If we understand these secrets, we may gain the edge we need." The council debated fiercely. Some argued that exploring these locations was too dangerous, that it might be a trap. Others insisted that this was humanity's chance to strike first, to uncover knowledge that could change the course of the war. Morales listened, weighing every argument, until a plan emerged. Humanity would follow the maps, investigate the hidden locations, and uncover whatever secrets were waiting. The first expedition set out under Morales' direct command. Titans led the way, supported by smaller human ships. Sensors scanned the darkness, while communication channels remained encrypted to prevent interception. Every officer knew the risk. Every crew member understood that they were walking or flying into the unknown. The first destination was a distant star system, almost untouched by modern civilization. Strange ruins floated in orbit around a dying planet. Ancient structures, massive and alien, glowed faintly in the void. Morales ordered the fleet to approach carefully. Every sensor was active, every weapon ready. The ruins were silent, but the silence itself was unsettling. Exploration teams were sent in. Drones and small crafts moved through the ruins, scanning every surface. The technology was unlike anything humanity had built. Structures pulsed with energy, symbols moved across surfaces as if alive, and strange lights reacted to the human's presence. Morales watched in awe and fear. "This is older than us. It's older than the Titans," she whispered. Then the first message came not in words, but in understanding. The structures revealed information about the Black Armada's origins, their methods, and weaknesses. Humans realized that the Armada had once been connected to this civilization, that it had evolved from it, and that remnants of its network could be disrupted. If humans could act quickly, excitement mixed with tension. Knowledge was power, but it came with risk. Morales knew that the Armada could detect the expedition's presence. Every second spent uncovering secrets increased the danger of being discovered, yet humanity had no choice. Without understanding, survival was impossible. As the expedition continued, Morales received a warning from her scouts. A fleet of the Black Armada was moving rapidly toward the system. "They've detected us," reported Chen, voice tense. "They are coming, Commander. Full strike imminent." Morales' eyes narrowed. "Then we finish what we came for and prepare to fight. Knowledge is our weapon now, and we will use it." The expedition teams worked faster, decoding the alien ruins and unlocking the secrets buried for eons. Data flowed into the Titans, guiding their systems, recalibrating weapons, and revealing patterns in the Armada's network. Humanity was learning faster than ever before, turning ancient knowledge into living strategy. As the Black Armada approached, Morales prepared for the next engagement. The fleet would defend the ruins, protect the expedition, and strike back. With newfound understanding, the war had shifted. It was no longer just about survival. It was about intelligence, strategy, secrets that could turn the tide. In the darkness of space, the Black Armada loomed closer. But humanity was no longer the same species the shadows had first hunted. The Titans had awakened. The expedition had uncovered truths. Commander Morales, standing on the bridge of the Sovereign, knew one thing clearly. The secrets they had unveiled would change the war in the galaxy, dash forever. The shadows would strike. Humanity would respond. And the hidden truths of the ancient universe would guide them toward a future no one had ever imagined. The galaxy held its breath. Humanity had survived countless battles, endured betrayals, awakened the Titans, and uncovered secrets long buried in the void. Commander Elena Morales stood on the bridge of the Sovereign, staring at the glowing stars that stretched endlessly before her. Beyond them waited the Black Armada's largest strike force yet. Moving with precision, patience, and a deadly intelligence honed over centuries. "This is it," Morales said quietly, her voice steady. "The final confrontation, we fight. Not just for survival, but for everything humanity has built, everything we are." Lieutenant Rami Chen checked the sensors again. "Commander, they're massive. Now, this is the largest fleet we've ever seen. Entire systems could fall if we fail." Morales nodded, knowing the stakes. "Then we do not fail. Humanity survives today." The fleet formed a battle line. Titans led the vanguard, their ancient hulls gleaming with power, weapons humming. With energy, smaller human vessels moved in coordinated formations around them, acting as shields, distractions, and attack units. Every crew member understood the importance of this moment. Every pilot, every engineer, every soldier held the fate of Earth and its people in their hands. The Black Armada struck first. Shadows surged across space, massive vessels moving faster than the eye could follow. Energy beams tore through the void, striking human ships with precision. Explosions lit the darkness like stars dying in the night. Human ships were hit, Some destroyed, others badly damaged, but the fleet held its formation. Morales barked orders. Focus fire. Titans, remember every lesson we've learned. Pilots and gunners acted with instinct and precision. Every move countered the Armada's attacks. Every strike tested the enemy's defenses. Humanity had learned to fight like never before. Amid the chaos, the Titans unleashed their power. Massive energy arrays fired in synchronized volleys, cutting through the shadows and tearing apart the enemy's formation. Smaller human ships struck at weak points, disrupting the Armada's network and causing confusion among their ranks. For the first time, the Black Armada faltered. But it was not enough. From the darkness emerged the Armada's largest vessels, the giants that had once terrified humanity. Their presence alone warped space, pulling ships out of formation and forcing humans to react instantly. Morales' eyes narrowed. This is their true strength. But we are ready. Human ingenuity came into play. The expedition's discoveries were now fully integrated into the fleet's systems. The Titan's ancient weapons could now disrupt the Armada's hive network. Targeting the command ships that controlled the enemy's tactics, the smaller vessels acted as conduits, spreading the disruption across the Armada fleet. Explosions rocked the battlefield as the Armada's largest vessels faltered. Systems went offline, shields collapsed, and some ships were forced to retreat. Humanity had turned knowledge into power. The first cracks appeared in the seemingly invincible enemy. Morales knew this was the moment to strike decisively. All units, target the command ships. Hit them together, now. Energy beams, missiles, and ancient weapon volleys converged on the largest Armada vessels. The void exploded in light and energy. Massive ships erupted, pieces scattering like falling stars. The Black Armada was reeling, yet the fight was far from over. Even damaged, the enemy was dangerous. Shadow tendrils lashed out, targeting vulnerable ships. Human crews dodged and countered, refusing to give ground. Every second was a test of skill, strategy, and courage. Morales took a deep breath. This is humanity's moment. Fight with everything you have. Do not falter. Do not fear. Victory is ours if we stand together. The fleet pressed forward, combining tactics, technology, and courage. Smaller ships flanked the remaining Armada vessels, while Titans unleashed full power on the weakened giants. Slowly, systematically, the Armada was destroyed or forced to retreat. Humanity had broken through the enemy's defenses, and the largest threat in the galaxy was faltering. As the battle reached its climax, Morales observed the final Armada ships. They were enormous, terrifying, and last-ditch survivors. But humanity had adapted, learned, and evolved. With synchronized strikes, ancient weapons, and tactical brilliance, the human fleet shattered the remaining enemy vessels. The Black Armada was no longer an unstoppable force. It was defeated, at least for now. Silence returned to the void. The debris of destroyed ships floated among the stars, glowing faintly in the darkness. Humanity's fleet, battered but victorious, regrouped. The Titans remained standing. It's a testament to Earth's ingenuity and resilience. Morales addressed her crew, her voice calm but full of pride. We have faced the shadows, endured betrayal, awakened the ancient fleet, and uncovered secrets that have changed the galaxy. We have fought not just to survive, but to claim our place among the stars. Humanity is stronger than any enemy, wiser than any shadow, and united in a way no one can destroy. Across Earth, the news spread. Humanity had faced the Black Armada and survived. Fear turned into hope, despair into pride. The galaxy now knew that humans were not prey, not weak, and not to be underestimated. Yet Morales knew the truth. War was not over. The Black Armada had been broken, but not annihilated. Patience, intelligence, and cunning would allow them to return. Humanity had won this battle. But vigilance would be required for every day that followed. Looking out at the stars, Morales felt a mixture of relief and determination. The Titans had awakened, knowledge had been unveiled, and the human fleet had proven itself against the deadliest enemy the galaxy had seen. The final confrontation had ended in victory. But the galaxy remained vast, dark, and full of mysteries. Humanity had joined the war, faced shadows, and emerged triumphant. The Black Armada had struck, but humans had responded in doing so. They had shown the galaxy the true power of courage, unity, and intelligence. The void remained endless, full of dangers and unknowns. But one truth was clear: humanity would never bow, never hide, and never surrender. The final confrontation had proven it. And from the darkness, hope burned brighter than ever, lighting the path for the next chapter of human destiny among the stars.